right, we come to the next segment. This is a special speech that is going to be done by Toastmasters Rahul Mandarata. Chief Planning Level 5, Elective 1, moderate a panel. And Toastmasters Rahul is the moderator today for this 40 minutes interview. The title of this segment is Unplugged, Candid Conversation with Club EXCO. Last year, before new EXCO elections, Toastmasters Rahul had a lot of questions about the various EXCO roles. Today, in his Innovative Planning Level 5 elective, moderate our EXCO members to share all the work they do behind the scenes for the betterment of the club in the form of a panel discussion. Please welcome Toastmasters Rahul Mandarata.
Thank you, everyone. A very good afternoon to all the Toastmasters and our lovely guests. Well, Changi Sime is a President's Distinguished Club. But do you all know it keeps all the other excos in check so that we work towards being a distinguished club year after year? If you know, please shout it out on the chat or unmute yourself and share for chasing other excos for the points. Secondly, okay, I have an answer from Jinhui. And Juni says Ramesh takes care of that. Oh, okay. That's right, Jinhui. So secretary keeps us on our toes. Secondly, I think we've sampled some of the program today already. What an amazing program this is, right? But do you know who slogs in the background so that we can all savor this wonderful learning opportunity? Which exco slogs the most for putting this program together?
DPE.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. So the questions like these and many more we'll unravel today so that all the other club members have a good understanding of various club roles. And you are in a better position during the EXCO elections to choose which one do you want to stand for. These elections would happen sometime in June. So without further ado, let me invite my esteemed panel today. I would love it if each of the panelists introduced themselves by stating their quirky fact. So something which you believe that most of us don't know in Toastmasters. So let's share that with us. I'll begin since I'm also an EXCO member. So let me start by giving my introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Rahul Mendirata and I am Vice President Public Relations and I'm also the host for the panel today. My quirky fact is that Priyanka Chopra Jonas, who's a favorite Bollywood actress and now an international star, once gave me a rose. She kissed the rose and threw it over to me. So that's my proud moment and my quirky fact. Okay, now I'll invite my panelists one by one, and I would like them to share their quirky facts as well. Let's begin with our Vice President membership, Justin Lai.
Hi everyone, my name is Justin and I'm the current Vice President of Membership. One quirky thing you may not know about me is that I am probably the biggest country music fan in Singapore, probably the only one, but maybe the only one below. So, thank you.
Nice, thanks, Justin. Okay, let's welcome my second panelist, which is Vice President Education, Junie Lim.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Toastmasters Rahul. The quirky fact about me is when I was 14 years old, my older sister, who was 17, took a picture of us and then sent to the US, thinking that she will get a rich husband in America. And when I found out she sent that photo, I said I against this because I'm in that photo. And she said, everybody can tell you're just a kid, so no worries. Months later, I received a letter. And at that time, I was collecting stamps. So I was very excited when I saw that it came from France. But the moment we opened up the letter, I got a shock because I don't know who was this. The name was L'Oreal Paris.
Wow.
And in that letter, they were inviting me to go to Paris on the flight that they're going to pay and accommodation that they're going to pay. They even allow me to bring an adult with me because they're looking for an Asian to represent their product. But in the end, I did not go to Paris, and neither my sister got a rich husband in the US. So that that was my quirky fact. Thank you.
Oh, you could be a supermodel, Junie.
Yeah.
Now, my mother said, "What if they sold you to the brothel? So don't go."
But this is in France, yeah.
Yeah.
And now
Thanks,
I can
Julie.
happily say I know a supermodel.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Thank you so much, Junie. Next, let me invite my third panelist, who's secretary for the club, Ravinder.
Yes, Rahul, I'm here.
Hi,
So
Ravinder. So, what is your quirky fact?
I think my quirky fact, I would say that nobody believed that I really run the marathon, and nobody believed that uh, I prepare really for Ironman. So that's a fact. And sometimes when you see me, you don't believe that I really can do that. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's my passion. So I do for me and keep me fit myself.
Nice, Ravinder. You're a living example of the proverb looks are often deceptive. Good. Welcome, Ravinder, to the panel. So our fourth panelist had to drop out for some emergency issues. She's Doreen Lai, the treasurer, but I'll try to fill in as much information I have about treasurer while we go through this panel discussion. And our final panelist is Sergeant at Arms Datta Gujar.
Good afternoon, everyone. You might be knowing me as Data Gujar, member of this club, but everyone should be aware, to run a successful meeting, there are some things runs in the background. Just like your processes when you start run a program, there should be some process running in the background which we are not aware of. Similarly, SAA comes in the picture. The quirky fact about me is the first job I always wanted to do from a little kid is to be IT professional.
Wow.
So I got inspired from my sister, who is like the IT tech in our family. So I just simply followed her, and here I am. So I just enhanced my skill set and just tried some hands-on. Just helped out the club over here as well, apart from my daily 9 to 6 job. So here. So Sergeant at Arms. Thank you.
Thank you, Datta. You knew your purpose of life right from what age? 5. And there are people like us who are still discovering, what do we want to do in lives? Good, good. Perfect. So, everyone, a big round of applause for my esteemed panel. Here, 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 here. All right, so let's get started with the meat of this discussion. Okay, so we've all heard about the non-Toastmastery angle of our panelists. Now I'll ask them about their role in the Toastmasters Club. So let me begin first. So as a VPPR, Vice President of Public Relationships, the kind of work that I do or my top responsibilities are, one, that I manage the PR activities across social media and offline channels, such as the posters that you see at Community Club, etc. Second, one of my KPI is to bring in new guests to our meetings. So thank you, Ashley, and thank you, Kanan, for taking off my KPI, for helping me with my KPI. Our third goal that I have, one of the major deliverable for VPPR is to release the club newsletter. And just before this meeting, I was in conversation with the editorial team who are working really hard behind the scenes to put the newsletter in front of all you guys in April. So those are some of the responsibilities of VPPR. Now I'll go in a round robin fashion one by one, and I'll ask all you EXCO folks to share what are top 3 responsibilities as a part of your job. So let's start with Justin.
So for vice, thank you, Rahul. So vice president membership, Key roles is to facilitate the the guests in the meetings to get them encourage them to be members. So for guests today, I'll be contacting you shortly and getting your contact information. And then afterwards, we'll be sending more information, any inquiries also about the Toastmasters. And for any guest who agrees to be a part of our big family, we will facilitate also the registration of membership along with the treasurer and to get them on board. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for sharing that, Justin. So Ashley and Kanan, I think you guys know who to contact. Or if you hear from Justin Lai later after this meeting, you shouldn't be alarmed. Okay, moving on. Next, Junie, do you want to share your roles and responsibilities?
Well, Rahul and everyone, cheers. To begin with
I
this,
have only bottle, but
thank you. To begin this, we need different kind of spirit to talk about the meeting. Okay? Well,
makes
my
sense.
three, yeah, makes sense. The top three responsibility for me is once the membership, uh, like Justin got the fish in or the members in, then the next is the VP education will start drilling them. Well, so what I mean by that, I will make time to get to know them, give them a call, find out if they have already selected their pathway. And then I will tell them that give me some time, I'm going to find a mentor to help them. So this is a number one role that I'm going to do. Next is, well, like the meeting that we are having twice a month, I will be responsible to manage the program. I will make sure that we have speakers to come in to give their speeches. And then I also make sure that we have people to help out in the meeting, as well making sure that we have enough program to fill the meeting. So this is my responsibility number two. Responsibility number three will be if there is any special festivals, I will also make sure that we're going to deliver a special kind of meeting for the people, for the members. So this is from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Junie. And everyone, a lot of hard work goes in putting together meetings like these. So we really appreciate the role of VP in this. Kudos to you, Junie, and your spirit. Okay, over to Ravinder to share his role and responsibilities as a secretary.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you very much. And again, welcome all of you. My name is Ravinder, and I'm secretary for this club. And I'd like to say, maybe you have been, I think, every week, as soon as you see your meeting get over, you will get some nice welcome message from me and also set some agendas and objectives what you have done in the past. So primarily my responsibility come to, when you're, even though you guys are whatever you are talking, who are winning, who is presenting, who is listening, who is the guest, making sure all are well communicated and documented into the backend. So front end, you guys are doing that. The backend, I'm capturing all the minutes of the meeting, what is happening. All this is my responsibility. So basically, hosting the club meeting in the backend is my responsibility. I do. Outside of the club, it is also my responsibility, like how you manage all the exco. You know, there are hundred of ideas come when we go together with the exco meeting, but my job is to streamline that and help them to flow and finish it within the time. Try to finish it within the time and bring back all our club, the memberships, making sure that we all are working together and stitching together on our activity and the follow up. That's again relevant to my exco. So we like you see on every 2 weeks in a month we attend, but another 1 week we spend together with all my exco members, and we make sure that whatever is happening, how the progress are happening, how the outcomes are happening, and is the club running on plan, is that my responsibility as well. I also have the executive committee responsibility, is the part of the team and making sure that the team stays together, work together, and perform together. So that's primarily my responsibility. And I would welcome if somebody interested, to I can share more detail inside that. It is a really interesting role. and in the back end you have to be out on managing the whole stuff and managing internal and external all the communications and working with the team is my core responsibility as a secretary. And work, most important, work very closely with president and our VP educations.
Right, that's right. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Ravindra. I mean, secretary, I think, is also one of the unsung heroes that we have, which you don't really see on the screen, but behind the screen, when he's documenting everything, he's ensuring that he's pushing the EXCO to achieve, to make the club achieve the president distinguished status, and yeah, all this we really owe it to the secretary. So thank you so much for doing all that work for us, Ravindra.
Thank you, Rahul.
So. For Doreen, she is the treasurer, and some of her top responsibilities are to ensure that all the spendings and receipts of the club are properly accounted for in both our own internal records and community clubs records, because we are a community club chartered chartered Toastmasters. Secondly, to ensure that all the dues are paid to Toastmasters International on time, and this also contributes to our president distinguished status. And she also liaises with members to pay their fees or claim their expenses, and to ensure that all these, behind the work finance things are in order. Now, let me ask Datta for sharing his roles and responsibilities as Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rahul. So, Sergeant at Arms, called as SAA as well in the club. So, the primary roles and responsibilities are more, but I will just cut short and I will say the first responsibility would be providing the infrastructure. It may be face-to-face meeting, in-person meeting, or virtual. So we need a space of infrastructure where we can set up the meeting. So I'm responsible to set up the meeting. So now we are on Zoom, but if generally we meet in, person to person in the club. I mean in the CC, so Changi CC, and yep. So my responsibility again would be starting the meeting on time, just making sure we have enough seating arrangement, sitting with enough all the required things like the gavel which we use in person to person meeting, the tables, everything which is required to sit with comfortably. And during the breaks, I'll be taking care of the food as well at the same time. And in the last, once everything is done, we'll be making sure the meeting goes well and without any glitches. So now that we are on virtual, so I'm taking care of the Zoom, and right from I'll be starting the meeting 15 minutes earlier than actual meeting, so that everything sets up smoother. Make sure if there are any glitches, technical glitches, I'll be taking care of that. And at 2 o'clock, generally we start at 2 o'clock, 3 hours. So everything which comes under in this three, so I'm just holding multiple roles. Like if there are any technical glitches as well, I'll be taking care of that one. So you need to wear multiple hats for that. Thank you, Rahul. Yeah.
Great. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Datta. And I have to say that Datta has had one of the hardest jobs recently, because last year with COVID, I mean, the entire SAE responsibilities have been transformed. Like the in-person meetings have been very different than on Zoom meetings. So he had to adapt his roles and responsibilities accordingly and ensure that all the meeting progresses on time. So we really appreciate Datta for all these efforts and in keeping us abreast with the changing times. So thanks to Datta for that. All right. Cool. My next question is about your motivation, guys. That when you started, when you ran for this role last year, when you decided to choose these roles, what were your motivations? So I can share mine. So I work in a digital media agency. So for me, I wanted to be in a role where I felt that I could leverage my skills, and as well, I wanted to add value to the club. I didn't want to be in a role where I couldn't add value. So that's why I chose VPPR. And very similar to me, even Doreen chose treasurer because she's a financial professional. But very curious, Justin, why did you decide to run for vice president membership last year?
Hi, thanks, Ru. Last year I was offered the role of VPM from our immediate past president, back then President Hui. And when I was mulling over the role, I think there is opportunity to get to know people, different kinds of people, and what are their motivations for joining Toastmasters, because we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different motivations. So it's been quite an eye-opener to get to know people, get to communicate with them, and to try to encourage them to join this cause.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. Cool. Thanks, Justin. Let's ask Junie about her motivations now.
Okay, like I said earlier, I joined Toastmasters because I was looking for a hobby. And so when Jin Hui and Ramesh approached me to take up the VP education role, now I'm a bit eccentric when it comes to invitation. I always say, yes, I'll do it. After that, I realized, no, I need to put in a lot of time and I don't know anything because at that time I was still new. Then later on, I stayed on and to see how things goes. The reason why was it was for the same reason that I don't know anything, because there's an inner voice that actually spoke to me that says, "Don't you want to know what you don't know?" And I realized it's true because naturally I'm a curious person. So I actually took this opportunity to find out what I don't know. And so after 8 months now, I'm still here. And what keeps me stay on is really like shared by Justin. I really want to get to know more people. And I see that this club really has a lot of potential. Thank you.
Right. Right. Thank you, Junie. Actually, listening to both of you, Justin and Junie, it makes me believe that at times, sometimes we don't know our strengths, but then there are people outside, like both of you mentioned how immediate past president Jin Hui identified that, hey, you guys are actually good for this role, and all of you are delivering stupendously. So sometimes we undersell ourselves, but other people can really see our potential. Great. Let me ask Ravinder, what was his motivation to run for secretary last year?
Thank you, Rahul. And so for me, I think as just given my speech to you that how my journey started, it was quite exciting for me. And and the most important for me is that I was really don't I was not knowing where I'm heading in this Toastmaster stuff. But one thing I was very passionate because I run the sales business, and so when I call as a sales business, I don't know, do you guys cut across or not, but sales have a 13 week of life. 13 is the lucky number. The week start and the week start was very slow and very nice way. Everything is look nice, everything is great. You really don't feel that, oh, anything can go wrong. But as soon as you hit into the week 13, all your excitement go away. Because that's where actually we look at it, what the hell you have done in the last 13 weeks and how the whole 13 weeks is gone, don't even know. And then we look for another 13 weeks, and then you look for another 13 weeks. By the time you reach to 52 weeks, where almost like your whole year is gone. That's exactly the life we live in sales. Trust me, man. And as soon as you hit 53 weeks, the week one, nobody care what you have done in for the week 52. Can you believe how is that excitement for you? That is what it inspired me to taking this role, because I know I need to do 26 weeks marathon in the secretary role. And you can calculate that it is exactly 26 weeks. Today we are at 15 weeks.
Right.
Today we are in 15 weeks, and I have every reports what you're doing and how you're doing. So for me, I feel that I think this is the one role I want to be the consistent. And our president approached me. I said, Ravi, what do you think? Do you think you will take this role? And I said, okay, you need to give me at least a few weeks to decide. Let me talk to my ex-secretary and find out what challenges you have. Because I really don't like to take just simply jump into something. I try to do prototype. It's just my mindset. Always do prototype.
Right.
Always do anything and everything. I do prototype first. Even buying something, the books I normally go and read first and find out is it really good books to read, and then I start doing that, right? So same secretary role, I went to Dave and asked, hey, how is it going on? Do you see is the challenging on this particular role? Do you see something can be improved? And he said, yes, it's really exciting role. And interesting part is that he handed over to me, and after that, I'm not able to catch him. It's a,
Circle of life, Ravinder.
but it's a good way. He said, Ravi, I'm very busy with my study. In fact, I met him just 2 weeks back as well. I said, Dev, when can we meet up again? Because not 2 weeks, I think 3 weeks when I was hosting this contest. I said, hey, why don't you come and meet
Hmm.
together and we'll drive that? He said, are you still holding the secretary role? I said, yes, I'm still holding that.
And
But
we
it is
really appreciate that you are, Ravinder. What would we do without you?
so it was quite exciting for me on doing that. So there are two motivations and
Good.
team. That one is that 52 weeks running your. Of course, I don't have to run 52 weeks. I have to run 26 weeks. So that's a good part for me in that. Second week is that it very good collaborations within the team and our exco member. And free to raise your own voice, ask more question, understand how and we can where and what we can contribute to the club. Is I think that is make me very motivated every week by week, and help to the team and team member and the club all together.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ravinder. And we know that you're a marathon man. You already clarified that before. No wonder you're doing this job amazingly. All right. Let me ask Datta about his motivation for joining SAE last year.
Thanks, Rahul. Yeah, so there are multiple things. Again, why it inspired me. I initially joined Toastmasters to how my fear of talking in front of people to gone, and eventually I was approached when I was doing my icebreaker. Then I was saying like I work for a bank in an IT sector providing IT support. And that was an add-on to the club, and the president approached like, why can't you enhance your skill set here as well? And yeah, initially I had no much things to do, in fact I can say, because everything was running smoother, and it was really a bit challenging when this COVID started. And at the same time I was using my other skill sets as well, like I mean, I had a hobby of photography. So I was also enhancing my
Mm.
photography skills for the club during when we are meeting in the club CC. So we was like there was some contest every 3 months or something. Sometimes we used to have every meeting we meet, we have the photo sessions. So I used to do all this stuff sometimes, and yeah, it really motivated because I was in this club. I got so much of encouragement. So maybe I was one of the IT guys in the club, and I got so much encouragement from the president and all of the exco, the past exco as well. So I just thought, okay, it's not a big deal because I do the same job in my 9 to 6, uh,
Right.
help like in a different way probably, like maybe in a different system, but it's just not 10%, not even 10%. I can say like 2 or 3% of what I do in my daily life. So it may be a larger piece of cake, but I can say it's easy piece of cake for me. So yeah, a lot of things. I
Right.
mean, I joined the club and I can see so many other um, people, other members who wear multiple hats sometimes, and it's really encouraging and really motivates me all the time. Yeah, over to you.
Great.
Thank you for that.
Thanks. Thanks, Datta. So what I'm hearing is that a few of us joined because we thought we could leverage our existing skills and add value to the club in a different manner, of course. And some of us were ready to embrace new skills or embrace new challenges. So no matter what your motivations are, people, if you think that a role is right for you, do visit out to the Exco. All right. Moving on. Very curious how the role has been adding value to all of you outside your Toastmasters life, right? Because Toastmasters is not only for public speaking; it's also about developing leaders. So let me share my story and then I'll just come to each one of you individually. So I personally struggle with leadership at work a lot, but lately in Toastmasters, I'm working together with a five-membered editorial team to dish out a newsletter. And I think it's a really big ticket leadership task that I've undertaken. And I'm learning so much in the process about not only just project management and the operational things, but about being able to utilize each of the strengths of various members. Like someone can write really well, someone can edit really well, someone can create videos really well. So leveraging dividing and conquering and utilizing everyone's strength. So this is a great learning for me as part of my role which I've recently gotten, and I am looking forward to find opportunities to apply this in my 9 to 6 job as well. Doreen told me that she feels that her role of a treasurer is actually like very similar to what Ramesh said in the starting, that the club is like a small business. So she also feels that she is doing bookkeeping for a small business, and and there's so much more, and it's an eye opener for her to understand that how much of effort goes into running the club smoothly. So as a part of EXCO, she's been able to experience that, and she is replicating that in her job as well. And she's more appreciative of people who are not always in the foreground, but they are behind the scenes and doing the job. So she has become more appreciative because of her role. Moving on, Justin, how has this role been helpful to you in your outside Toastmasters life?
Well, I've always considered customer service one of the scariest parts of work. In all my jobs, I of course kind of feared responding to customer queries and trying to be, I guess, it's close, or I'm not sure intimate is the right word really, but to get to know, the other person and empathize where they're coming from. And I noticed that through these interactions with our potential members, our guests, members, and it's all nice to be more empathetic on since especially when we're all on the same boats. And I believe this would serve us well, especially all of us EXCO, when we want in our careers, and especially with my future career. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Justin. Julie?
Thank you. Before I joined Toastmasters as the EXCO member, my life revolved in two buckets: my personal life and my professional life, the two P's. Now I have added the passion life, the Toastmasters. And where do I place this? In the beginning, I was having trouble where to place this. So the difference between personal life and professional life is this. In my personal life, my personality is such that I'm very giving, I'm very kind, I'm very loving, and very merciful. Professional life, I'm a person that not so. I'm a totally different. I'm actually flipping from my personal life to professional life 180-degree turn. So a lot of time when
Okay.
I'm in a social environment that is neither these two, I will have to take time to adapt whether I should apply my personal life. Example, if my son says, Mommy, I'm going to be out late tonight. Likely I'm going to say, it's okay, baby. Just come home in one piece. Just don't die outside. Okay. Professional life, if someone tells me, I cannot come in to do this, I forget to do that, I cannot deliver on time, I will say it's not all right. Things that are assigned to you, you have to get it done. And so when I'm in a different environment, is a lot of time I take time to adapt. If it's neither these two, I always just observe and I don't do anything about it. But in Toastmasters, currently I put it in the middle because I find that it is both a mix of personal, whereby you have to add a little bit kindness to people, but at the same time you have goal to achieve. You need people to work according to a system. And so today I would say that what I benefited from this is that I no longer flip 180-degree turn. I actually have an avenue that allow me to flip 90 degree. So it's easier for me to maneuver myself in a different social context. Thank you so much.
Good, Junie. So you are at the right angle, technically speaking. No.
Right.
Okay. All right, Ravinder, very quickly. Okay, I see that we have very less time left. But Ravinder, how has this role helped
I
you
think
in
I
your professional life?
Thank you, Rahul. I think I like the way Juni has explained, and I believe the same things apply to me as well. Because most of time I'm very transactional, uh, because of my weekly cadence to run on. I only ask one thing: Hey, tell me what is the forecast? Give me what is the commit, where I can see the pipeline. There's only three words I speak to maybe around 15 people at least in a 50, at least 17 different country, and that is my aim. So people knows when I get into the call for 15 minutes, I ask three questions, and I want these three questions to be in a positive way. I So if I don't see the pipeline, I'm in the trouble. I don't see forecast, I'm in the trouble. If I don't see the commit, I'm in trouble. So all three are troublemaker. Either way you link it,
Mm,
whatever way you want to do that. Same thing in the personal. I have two young son, and most of the weekdays is I spend on my working with all this country, and the weekend I spend most of time with them. And as you know, I run marathons, so I need my own time as well. But and I used to run the many other sports activity in the back end. But Toastmaster, I decided, and I have been doing. I feel quite good in this. The role which I'm doing is combination of both. So I'm trying more on the transactional, which is like I need to deliver the reports. I need to make sure that the minutes of meeting happen. At the same time, I need to have the very consistent performance my own way to making sure that there is certain KPI asset for myself for our club, and I'm trying to deliver that at least
great.
for all throughout the year. So it's a mix of both for me, and it's a great learning and balancing yourself. I felt very re-energized myself, and at least by Saturday comes in, and I see all a smile on all of your face, and everybody trying to helping to each other. It make me really feel good. So I get
Definitely.
refreshed. At least I know I'm reaching into the Saturday, and I'm ready for the next week.
Right. Toastmasters make you look forward to Saturdays. Great. Thanks, Ravinder. Datta, over to you.
Yeah, that's great to hear, Juni, Justin, and Ravinder. So, in fact, Toastmasters, when I say the word Toastmaster in my firm's meetings, right, in the daily meetings, they give me a different look. Oh, you are Toastmaster, and all of a sudden I can see a spotlight on my face. So, oh, okay, they give a special privilege. I can say proudly. So, so that really helped me in many ways. One way I can say is, so I'm an acting manager. uh, whenever my manager is on leave or not available due to some obvious reasons, so I'll be the acting manager hosting the whole meetings, because we have a lot of meetings with the stakeholders during the day, and they should be someone who should represent. So when this the all the when I was a very active participant in those masters, it really helped me to talk without any fear among the larger audience. Mainly when in my daily office, when I speak to the stakeholders, we should have
Mm,
some kind of confidence. So I was like, oh no, I can't do it earlier. Then eventually this really helped me, and so whoever is not available, if anyone is not available in my firm who is taking care of those meetings, so the only thing comes is Data. Go to Data. He can help you. So I was like last minute person who people come to me. Oh, please, can you help me with this thing? I could see Lay, who is my manager. Lay is not available today. Can you help me with this thing? Oh, no, yeah, all right, sure, no worries. So it was that kind of a commitment, or it's like some proactive measures which helped me, which helped those masters, in fact, and I really apply those things in my daily life as well. So yeah,
right.
I can see. Yeah, there are multiple things which help me, but there's one proudly I can share with all the team over here.
Yeah, right. Right. Thanks, Datta. You are our sealant. Whenever there are last minute holes, you help fill that up. All right. No, it's really great to hear from everyone that Changi CMA is actually fulfilling its promise of fun to speak and fun to lead for all of you. So it's very nice. Given the paucity of time, I can go on. I have a lot of questions to ask you guys, but let me open the floor for the audience to see if anybody has any burning questions for any of the panelists.
Rahul, can I say something? Yeah, it's Leon.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So just for the benefit of some of you out there, I have been with the club since the year 2008. So that's my 13th year with the club. So just to share what Junie has gone through, in 2008, I joined as a new member. In 2009, I became VPE after 7 months, really. At that time, my president was not well, so I was straddling between the VPE work and taking on the president's work during the second half of the term as well. So there was only one VPE then. So it was tough. Definitely having been through the journey, I can fully empathize with some of the challenges, certain roles, especially a heavy portfolio like what a VPE does, and I greatly appreciate all the work that goes in underneath it and behind it. So I have done many roles throughout these 13 years. So what made me stay? I think the broader question is always this. I find that once a mentor told me, so many people do things for different reasons. Of course, you can do it for the fulfillment of yourself. You can want to develop leadership. For that mentor who told me, I thought that was striking. He said that, do you realize, Leon, when you are doing a role for Toastmasters, you are actually helping people to improve, right? When you're helping people to improve, organizing a successful meeting is just one of the parts to crystallize the entire thing to help, because you are providing a platform. And the EXCO role is so important because you need the EXCO to come together to put up a successful meeting. And not every club does that well. I think the fact that Changi Sime has been operating seamlessly, I would say for the most part, up to this stage, has been the work of the many EXCOs before us and the current EXCO. So this is a combination of all the effort that has gone in all this while. And what the mentor told me, don't you think that it's also a form of a community work that you are doing? So then I thought, wow, it is. I mean, you could volunteer at old folks' home. You could volunteer at any charitable organizations. You spending your time in a Toastmasters, in a non-profit organization like Toastmasters, you're helping to improve the skill set of people, right? You're enriching someone's life. So aren't you then an active contributor as well? You're providing a service to a larger group. So that is in part, you are contributing. So I see that, my journey, definitely I've gained a lot from this journey. But I thought that this journey has also given me a lot as well, not only improving myself as a person. And I thought, as I look back, I thought it's also time that I contribute my little bit into the journey and helping to continue to support the club and helping everyone come together so that we can all share the same vision, that we can be better persons tomorrow as what we are versus what we are today. So that's just a little bit from my perspective, and I'm just hoping that that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
And I'll
definitely.
continue to support this club as much as I could. Yeah.
No, very rightfully said, Vyong. And for everyone's benefit, Vyong is our club advisor, and he actually advises us on a lot of issues, policies, etc. And how do we deliver the best possible product or the program for all of you guys. So we really appreciate all the expertise, Vyong, that you have gained over the years. You are sharing it with us, and you are mentoring all the new EXCOs to to aspire to be future leaders. So thank you so much.
Hey, Rahul.
All right. Yeah.
Could I just share that due to all the effort that our EXCOs have done so far, last year we were voted as the best club in Division S. Best Toastmasters club.
Oh, this is news to me. Here. That's amazing, guys. So Division S has, I don't know, to close more than 25 clubs being voted as best club from among so many clubs is really an achievement. So, like Vyong said, it goes back to all our past excos and the current excos who are building on the learnings from our past from the past expertise that excos have been sharing down the lane. So thank you so much. A big kudos to everyone who's a part of this great Changi CMA family. As we Young said, that it's a form of a charity what we are doing, and we know charity begins at home, and Changi CMA is our family. So let's keep going ahead with improving each other, helping each other with the feedback, taking up roles in the meetings, and taking up exco roles. I hope today's session has been useful in clarifying some of the questions around exco roles and responsibilities. But guys, this is not the end. It was just to pique some interest. Don't hesitate to reach out to the team in case you have any questions. And a very big thanks to my panelists, my exco team, for being very candid in answering the questions. I'm sure this is really helpful for all the audience. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Let's give a round of
Cheers,
applause.
cheers, cheers.
Yeah.